Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we'll be starting on chapter 12, Tying Loose Ends. So let's jump right in. Once Damien arrives at the house and walks in the door, he sees Trevor on the couch watching television and having some food. Trevor informs Damien that he already fed everyone in the house except for Louis because he can stand to lose a few pounds. Damien is shocked that everything is fine, but mostly that everyone is still alive. He decides against telling Trevor about them not working together since he has managed to keep his composure after the beating Louis gave him. So, how was your day? It was interesting to say the least, I must admit. Louis is stronger than I expected. He kicked my butt, but I managed to overtake him in the end, Trevor answers. Yeah, I should have warned you about him, but at least everything is contained and under control. So how was your day? Trevor asks. Well, just like yours. Mine was interesting as well. I went to work, handled some business, and I left work early to check on what was needed for the funeral home. That was shot to hell due to there being a car on the property. How did a car get through the gate? Trevor asks. I don't know, but there it was. I had to go call a tow truck and get rid of it. Is everything okay now? Trevor asks. Yeah, everything is under control. Just like here. Business was taken care of successfully. Damien lets him know that later tonight they will have their neighbor Denise over for dinner. Much to Trevor's surprise, Damien goes into the workout room so he can get a light session in as Trevor watches TV. He walks over to the window and sees that the Toomeys are looking towards the house. Trevor closes the blinds, goes to his room, and looks out of his bedroom window, only to come across Denise staring into his window. Damien, focusing on the workout, becomes hungry and intercoms Trevor to let him know he'll be ordering dinner before he jumps in the shower. After 15 minutes, Damien completes his workout, places the food order, and heads into the shower. While in the shower, the Chinese food arrives. Trevor has the guy come in and set the food on the table. Trevor signs for the food, tipping him $50. Damien gets out of the shower and calls Denise to let her know she can come over. He gets dressed and heads back downstairs so he can meet Denise at the door. Damien calls Trevor over so they can be introduced to one another. Trevor comes over, but he has something on his mind. Damien notices him pacing in the hallway. Damien just wants to have a peaceful night and enjoy his dinner, so he wants to clear the air right now. What's the matter, Trevor? Nothing, just nothing. I can't help it, Trevor replies. Why the pacing and acting paranoid? Nothing, man. Stop hounding me, Trevor replies. Hounding you? Yeah, you're all over me. Back off a bit, Trevor replies as he angers Damien. Are you forgetting that you're in my effing house, you disrespectful piece of crap? Damien asks, trying to regain his composure. What, you got nothing to say? Sorry, boss. I'm just feeling like all eyes are on me, Trevor replies. What do you mean? Every time I look out the window, there's someone looking this way, Trevor replies. I know what you mean. I guess you're talking about the Toomeys across the street. I don't know who they are, but I guess so. Denise is also staring into my room, Trevor replies. I told you not to worry about Denise, but the Toomeys, I'm pretty sick of them invading my privacy. So what do you want to do, boss? Trevor asks as it starts to rain again. Well, I think we should take care of them, Damien replies as the doorbell rings. Damien and Trevor stop talking and head towards the door to greet Denise to put his paranoia to rest. Damien introduces them and shows Denise around the first level of the house, given it has been a while since she was over. Damien takes her to the table so they can have dinner. Damien, what's with Trevor? It's like he's scared of me, Denise asks. It's not that he's scared. He just suffers from anxiety. Yes, I've been suffering from anxiety for years, Trevor adds. Oh, that explains a lot. But you shouldn't be worried about me, dear. I just keep an eye out to make sure nobody is breaking into Damien's house, Denise replies. Thank you. That puts me at ease knowing you're looking out for us, Trevor replies. Yes, Denise, we appreciate everything you're doing for us. Don't worry, dears. It's the least I can do compared to everything you do for the neighborhood, Denise replies. The only people I have a problem with are the people across from you, the Toomeys. They're too darn noisy, Denise says. I know what you mean. I wish they would leave the neighborhood. They continue to talk as they eat. Trevor needed to experience this so he can realize Denise isn't a threat to them. After dinner, they keep talking until Denise looks at the clock and sees that it's almost midnight. She tells him she needs to go home to take her medication. Damien walks Denise to her house so he can hold the umbrella. Once he's heading back to his house, he realizes the Toomeys are watching him through their upstairs window. Damien goes back inside where he tells Trevor what happened, and together they plot a way to get rid of the Toomeys once and for all. As the rain continues to come down hard, followed by some thunder, Trevor goes outside on the porch to smoke since Damien has been trying to get him to quit. While he's enjoying his minute of solitude, the Toomeys stare at him, this time through their bedroom window. They continue to watch as Trevor walks off the porch and around the property, garage pales. The Toomeys call the police as they see Trevor get into the house through the side door. They wait by the window to see what happens when the police arrives. Damien and Trevor are talking about how to get rid of the Toomeys when the doorbell rings. Damien answers the door after looking through the security cameras and notices it's the police commissioner. He tells Trevor to stay calm. "Commissioner, what are you doing here?" "Hey, Damien, there was a call of a guy looking suspicious breaking into your house, and I personally wanted to come by to check it out," the police commissioner answers. "Well, I'm sorry for the disturbance, Commissioner, but there's no problem here." "Come on, you make me feel old saying that. You know you can call me Marcus. No need for formalities between us," the commissioner replies. "Marcus, we have known each other for years, and if there was a problem, you would be the first to know. But honestly, there's nothing wrong about here. There's nothing to worry about here." "Damien, I'm not surprised to tell you this, but given our history, I'm going to tell you who called in about the intruder. It was your neighbors, the Toomeys," Marcus adds. "Not a problem, Marcus. They're just nosy and want to see what's going on over here. It's been this way since they moved in." "Do you want me to get them off your back?" Marcus adds. "No, don't worry about it." "Have you heard from John, Larry, and Bob?" Marcus asks. "Not in a while, but we should work on a reunion soon." "Definitely. Well, I gotta get back to the office. Stay in touch, Damien, and don't make me come back here," Marcus says with a smile. "All right, Marcus. Have a safe trip back to the office, buddy." Damien goes back inside the house and looks through his living room window, only to see the Toomeys looking over at his house still as Trevor comes back into the room and notices Damien standing in the corner of the room. Trevor looks through the blind, only to see the same thing Damien is seeing. "We need to put an end to this as soon as possible." "But how? The commissioner was just here," Trevor asks. "Don't worry about the commissioner." "How do you know the commissioner?" Trevor asks. "We go way back to our days in school. So, if you don't mind me asking, I see this picture a lot throughout the house. Who are these people with you in the picture?" Trevor asks. "Well, you should know at least one of them. But this is Commissioner Marcus Calloway, Attorney Larry Steinberg, Dr. Bob Clark, and this is Mayor John Griffey." "Darn! These people went to school with you, and you're all still close after all these years?" Trevor adds. "Of course, we went to all the same schools together, and are closer than any family that I know." "Okay, boss, how do you want to take care of the Toomeys?" Trevor asks. "Don't worry, we'll handle this no later than tomorrow. Before I forget, we also have to meet a friend regarding the funeral home tomorrow," Damien replies as Trevor nods in approval. Damien and Trevor plot a way to get rid of the Toomeys, agreeing that tomorrow is the best time to do this, given the storm is coming tomorrow night is bigger than the one tonight. Damien says that he is going to sleep and suggests Trevor do the same. Trevor is anxious to get through this night. It's now around 7 a.m., and Damien is awoken by screams coming from Louis. Damien goes into the room thinking Trevor is already in there torturing his brother. He's shocked to see no one in there with him. Louis struggles to break free and screams at the top of his lungs to try to get people to notice that he's being held against his will. Damien doesn't bother to shut him up. Trevor is now awake and rushes over to Louis' room. He sees Damien just sitting on the floor, laughing. "Give it up, Louis. You know darn well no one can hear you scream. So do us a favor and save your screams for when we want to hear it." "F you, Damien," Louis yells. "I told you to save your effing voice for when it's needed." "F you and F that prick next to you," Louis replies. Damien and Trevor leave Louis alone in the room to scream and cry or whatever he's doing in there. They get a workout session in to relieve some of the stress and frustration that has been building up due to the Toomeys. After completing the workout, Damien takes a shower while Trevor checks on the other people in their rooms to ensure that everyone is still alive. Trevor eats some of his breakfast in front of them and throws the rest on the floor in front of Victoria before he throws water at them as he leaves the room. He heads upstairs only to see Damien in the kitchen. He lets him know that he fed everyone except Louis. He doesn't feel comfortable being alone with him. He's afraid he'll lose control and hurt Louis. Damien tells him not to worry about it since Louis can go a few days without eating. Damien goes in to have breakfast in front of Louis so they can spend some quality time together while Trevor takes a shower. Louis stares at Damien but doesn't say a word to him. Louis is starving since he hasn't eaten in 2 whole days. Damien hopes Louis will say something so he can punish him, but Louis knows how this situation works. He doesn't say a word. You see, Louis, I love you, brother. I give you freedom. You can roam throughout this room at your own free will. I shall not have you tied up and stored away in a closet. My own blood doesn't deserve that. Come on, Louis. I'm making an effort here. I'm trying to bond with you. You were always too busy to do so when I was younger. Now I have you all to myself. Oh, man. Does that sound selfish or what? Well, feel free to walk around the room. Maybe if you behave yourself, I'll let you walk around the house one of these days, Damien says as Trevor walks into the room. Come on, Trevor. Let's give him some time alone to get comfortable in the room. Besides, we have business to handle. Okay, boss, Trevor replies without asking anything. As they leave the room, Damien locks the door behind them, setting the alarm to the house as they head to the car. While they're on their way to the funeral home, he receives a call from Kevin letting him know that he's already ahead of schedule. Damien lets him know that he should be there in about 10 minutes. Once they arrive at the funeral home, they see Kevin waiting for them by the gate. Once through the gate and parked, Kevin introduces himself as they spend the afternoon discussing the intricacies of running a crematorium and funeral home. Damien offers to pay Kevin for his time, but he refuses to accept any money. Damien appreciates the gesture and offers to at least give him money for lunch and coffee when he tries to turn down, but Damien insists he takes something for coming out of his way. Left with no choice, he accepts the lunch offer. Damien gives him $100 and tells him to treat himself to something good for dinner. He walks Kevin to his car and watches him leave. Trevor is dying to test the information he has just learned and asks Damien when does he think they will put it to good use. Loving his enthusiasm, Damien lets him know that tonight they will take the Toomies. He has permission to overstep the boundaries with only them. Overcome with excitement, Trevor doesn't know which one he would want to throw in the oven first. So, boss, what will happen to the other one? Trevor asks. Well, you can kill one if you like. That's completely up to you. But the other one will have to deal with me. First thing I'm going to do is force them to watch what you do to the other. Sounds good, boss. Do you mind if I take the boy? Trevor asks. It's perfectly fine with me. Let's go to the hardware store while the oven warms up. We need some last-minute items for tonight. Once at the hardware store, Damien looks at a few items and tells Trevor to get a cart so they can load everything in. Trevor looks around and is drawn to a reciprocating saw, a circular saw, and an LED flashlight. Intrigued by the way Trevor went, he decides to go a little old school. Trevor thinks they might have gone a little overboard as they go to the cash register to pay for everything. As they arrive at another store, Damien tells Trevor to stay in the car since he'll be back in 5 minutes. Trevor watches people walk by, imagining what it would be like to kill each and every single one of them. In the middle of his daydreaming, Damien returns, throwing a bag onto his lap, which he opens to see what's inside. These are medical tools, Trevor says. Yes, I know what they are, Trevor. What are we going to do with them? Trevor asks. You're not going to do anything, and neither am I. Oh, so you're just picking them up for someone else? Trevor asks. Yeah, I'm hoping that Louis will change his mind and help me out. He has medical training that could prove to be a great asset to us. Can you trust him after everything we've done to him? Trevor asks. Nope, but it's a chance I'm willing to take. I don't feel too confident about this, boss, Trevor says. I understand, but don't you worry. You're not the only one. But we all have to die at some point, and I know 2 things. 1, I'll die someday, but that day won't be today. And 2, it won't be at the hands of my brother. What about me, boss? Trevor asks. We all make our destiny. It will... That's great. We all make our destiny. It will determine if you made a right decision and which way you check out of this world. Trevor is confused by Damien's answer. Arriving back at the funeral home, they unload the car and take all the items into the basement. Damien informs Trevor that this is where they will do everything from now on. Trevor agrees and begins to put everything onto the shelves and closets, and prepares a bag with the gloves, wire cutters, and a few other items for when they go after the Toomies. Yes? They spend the next several hours fixing it to their liking, and they head upstairs around 8 p.m. Heading back to the house, they wait for the right time to go after the Toomies. Damien has a chance to talk to Louis to see where he stands, and if he's willing to help them, it starts to lightly drizzle while Trevor still has his doubt about having Louis help them, especially after hearing what Damien wants to give him sharp tools. Damien isn't fully comfortable with his brother, but he's also not feeling comfortable with Trevor questioning everything he does. They notice that the Toomies are home, and for the first time since they moved in, they aren't at the window. Damien tells Trevor to go around the block and wait for it to get dark before going in after them. Trevor takes the bag with him and walks the opposite way so the Toomies don't suspect a thing. If they were to look out the window, the only things they would see would be Damien. He cuts to the backyards of several of their other neighbors and waits in the Toomies' backyard for the right time. The rain is coming down a little harder than before. Meanwhile, back at the house, Damien goes in the room with food for Louis so he can have his first meal in the last 2 days. As soon as Damien enters the room, Louis swings at him, but he struggles to stay on his feet. Damien tries to explain to Louis that he isn't here to hurt him, but it goes in one ear and out the other. Louis is in survival mode at the moment and refuses to listen. Damien gets angry and yells at Louis to calm down. Louis swings at Damien again, but is taken to the ground where Damien hits him relentlessly. After a few good punches, he gets off Louis and tries to talk to him once more. Listen, I'm not here to fight with you. I'm trying to give you food and propose something to you. Like I said earlier to you guys, F you, Damien, Louis yells. Don't be stupid, Louis. I know that whatever I do to you right now, you can manage to take care of it with the stuff that's in the to take care of it with the stuff that's in the room. That's why I brought these things here for you. Now, what do you say you have some dinner and I explain to you my proposal? I'll eat, but don't expect me to become a part of what you're doing to these people, Louis replies. Well, that's something I want to talk to you about. The thing is, I know how to take organs out and how to torture, but what you can offer these people is a chance at recovery once I'm done with them. How the hell am I supposed to do that? Louis asks. Look, I bought instruments and other things you would need. Now, this is something our father used to do on his own, but I need you, brother. I don't think so, Damien. If you help me, you will gain your freedom. You can take over the house on the funeral home and property, and you can bring your wife over. Now you expect me to bring my wife into this mess? Louis asks. Louis, that's completely up to you. I'm just letting you know that I need you. What do you say, brother? Damien replies. I don't know. This is something that will scar these people for life. I don't want them to know who I am. No problem. I'll get you a mask. I need time to gather my thoughts, and I'll let you know tomorrow. Fair enough. Have a good night, and I'm sorry for leaving you like this, but I need to take care of some business with the Toomies. Can you leave the door open for me? You know what? In a sign of trust and how badly I want to work with you, I'll leave it unlocked for you. Whatever happens, we will deal with it later. As Damien just planted the seeds to forming a working alliance with his older brother, he keeps his word and leaves the door unlocked. Louis is now out of the room, roaming around the house when he sees the dogs looking at him. Ready to attack, he tries not to make any sudden movements, but he's slipping due to the injuries to his leg and ankles. Damien calls the dogs over to him and tells Louis that it's okay to roam around. Damien looks out the window, paying no mind to what Louis is doing. Trevor is now moving around the back of the Toomey's house, looking for the phone wire. Once he locates the wire, he cuts it right away and gets into the house through the back door. Inside the house, Trevor shuts off the power to the house. Oh, excuse me. As a loud clap of thunder strikes. Trevor reaches into the bag and pulls out a gun and 2 ball gags. Damien finally sees that the power is off the Toomey's house and is ready to leave. He sets up the alarm system and enters a code into the house phone. Trevor finds the Toomeys upstairs. At gunpoint, he forces them to put the gags on one another while he reaches into the bag and pulls out 2 pairs of handcuffs. He instructs them to get on the floor where he handcuffs them and takes them outside, forcing them into the back of Damien's truck. Damien leaves the house while Louis tries to call anybody he can, but he gets a message stating that this phone cannot complete any outgoing calls at the moment. Frustrated by this, Louis looks through the house to find his cell phone, but the dogs watch every move he's making, and Louis calms down not to provoke them. He spends 10 to 15 minutes looking for a cell phone and decides to sit on the couch turning on the television. Meanwhile, Damien is now at the funeral home, and as he opens the gate, he sees that the Toomeys are horrified of what awaits them. Trevor opens the door and pulls the Toomeys out of the truck. Dropping them to the floor, Damien walks over to them, instructing them to get up and follow Trevor into the basement. Once inside the basement, the Toomeys' expression changes from scared to extremely horrified, as if they have seen their lives flash before their eyes. The heat from the oven resembles the flames of hell. Ugh. I'm so sorry. Trevor, I want to hear the details of how you got them. Tell me in front of them so they can relive the moment. Okay. I waited in the backyard for a while in the rain for the right time. The moment that the thunder hit, I snapped the phone line and managed to get in the house. Then I turned off the power, making them believe it was a blackout due to the storm and giving me time to search for them. That's all good and all, but I want to know the reaction on their faces when they saw you. So after searching downstairs, I went upstairs as the thunder grew louder. I saw them in the mother's room together, so I pulled out my gun and I quietly walked over to her, tapping her on the shoulder. When she turned around, her eyes bulged and the boy started to cry. She dropped to her knees and offered me anything I wanted in the house as the boy peed himself. So much for being a man, huh? That's no man. He's just a kid that doesn't know anything else but to be his mother's lapdog. What else did you do? I told them this is the night they have to pay for everything they have done. I pointed the gun at the mother's head and I told her to gag the boy, and I told him to do the same to his mother. Then I locked the house and loaded them into the truck. And here we are, Trevor answers. That's great. Thanks for the details of your first abduction. You did great. I know we will have fun here tonight. So, which do you pick? I want the boy, Trevor answers as his mother panics. You sure you want to kill the boy? Definitely. This bee is gonna watch him die. Since she likes to watch what goes on in the neighborhood, she can watch what happens to her pride and joy. It sounds like you've put a lot of thought into this. Let's get started. Trevor hoists the son by his wrist to the ceiling as Damien holds the mother in front of him. Trevor walks over to one of the shelves and grabs a saw and returns to the boy. He removes the gag from his mouth. Damien passes him the duct tape, who ties his legs. The mother looks on terrified. Trevor places a wooden bench underneath his feet to keep Joe in place as Trevor turns on the saw to cut off all his toes. They hit the floor in front of his mother. Damien places a bucket underneath Joe so blood doesn't spill all over the floor. He has an idea for the blood. Joe screams in agony as Trevor saws off pieces of his right foot while his mother can only watch. Damien holds her in place by the hair. Trevor has managed to saw off the right ankle and throws it in the oven before proceeding to the left foot. Damien passes Trevor a bag of salt, which he uses on the wounds to stop the bleeding. Trevor works slowly on Joe, killing him painfully as the only thing his mother can do is watch. She struggles to break free herself while Damien just holds her in place. Knowing that the stack is against her, she wants to reach her boy. Damien strikes her in the back of the head to calm her down and forces her to watch as he hands Trevor a sledgehammer, much to her disgust. Trevor looks at the boy, letting him know this will hurt as he strikes his legs, smashing them. He passes out. Hitting the table as Damien walks over to give him an adrenaline injection, Joe comes to and Trevor has a scalpel. He warns Joe that this is his first time he has ever used one. Trevor runs the scalpel through Joe's chest just like Kevin taught him earlier. After opening the chest, he works on the face and Joe prays. I'm sorry, son, but there's nothing but pain heading your way, Damien says as he hands Trevor the hatchet. Oh, please, Father, relieve me from this world, Joe pleads as Trevor chops off his left hand. What's the matter, Mom? You can't handle watching this? Damien mockingly asks as Trevor chops off his right hand. Well, Mummy, how about I give you a hand? Trevor asks, throwing the left hand at her, pushing the table near the oven. Joe, you're on your way to hell, Trevor says, laughing. Trevor, want to play connect the dots with the scalpel across his face with all those pimples and freckles? I'm not sure, but how about I chop off his penis and give it to his lonely mother? Trevor asks. It's completely up to you, Trevor. This is your boy. You can do whatever you like. Well, since it's up to me, I'm going to do this my way, Trevor replies as he cuts off his pants and underwear. Please, God, take me now, Joe begs while Trevor castrates him. Mommy, it looks like you have a girl now, Damien mocks as Trevor grabs Joe by the penis. Oh, God. Now she looks pretty. All she needs is a good effing to make her transformation complete. Look at her skinny body. She's basically all bones. We need to fatten her up with a good F, Trevor says. What do you say, Mummy? Trevor asks while she cries, looking at her boy. Come on, Mummy. I'm not going to F your B. I'm going to kill him, Trevor continues as he cries. Trevor has Joe completely helpless. He grabs him off the table and throws him into the oven. The screaming intensifies every few seconds as he cannot move. His mother looks at him, defenseless, praying. She looks at where his hands and ankle were and turns his head to the left, only to see they're almost gone. He continues to pray as his mother drops to her knees. Damien stands her up to drag her towards the oven so she can see what she forced them to do. He wants her to accept that this is something they brought on themselves. Miss Toomey looks on heartbroken as her son is dying in front of her, and there's nothing she can do to help him. Joe looks at his mother, flashing a smile at her before taking his final breath. Damien grabs a scalpel from the table and stabs her in the left eye. She cries while she keeps her eye on Joe's lifeless body. Damien stabs her in the right eye, leaving her blind with the last image being her dead son in the oven. You nosy bee. This is going to be the last thing you keep in your memory. I see that you're uncomfortable, but don't worry. Think of the smile he gave you to let you know he's okay, Damien says as Trevor looks on. I'm going to make sure we don't kill you. I want you to live your life knowing that you're the reason your son is dead. You caused all this mess and are forcing me to continue evolving. Damien smashes her feet with a sledgehammer. You're going home now, and I sincerely hope you like it. Well, not that you're going to ever see it, but at least you'll know that you're home, Damien says as he leaves the room. Wait a second, sweetheart. Where do you think you're dragging yourself to? Trevor hits her arms with the sledgehammer. You shouldn't be moving so much. You might end up getting hurt. Trevor hits her in the ribs. Come on, Trevor. We have all day tomorrow for this bee. Damien yells from upstairs. I'm coming, Trevor replies, walking up the stairs. They get back in the truck, leaving the oven on to burn Joe. His mother is on the floor in severe pain, coughing up blood and trying to catch her breath. On the way back to the house, Damien looks at Trevor and tells him that he's extremely proud of the work he's pulled off tonight. He's hopeful this is only the beginning. He sees potential in him. Trevor appreciates the kind words, knowing that this is something Damien really needs to become his true self. He agrees to help him out as much as possible. So, that is the end of chapter 12. The next one will be chapter 13, Unbelievable Acts. And until next time, please remember, like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think so far. I will keep saying it every single week. I do not care. See you guys next time. Bye.